brothers and sisters, sisters who want to be brothers and vice versa. It's that time of the day you've all been waiting for.
Can Jesus see my weed? Is my EBT here?
No, you dumbass. It's the moment of reason with your host, Big B Chill.
And welcome to the Moment of Reason. This update comes by way of a recent article from Centric.com, and it says that in a recent Breakfast Club interview, author, activist, and former Public Enemy associate Sister Souljah has stated that presidential candidate Hillary Clinton was the slave master's wife. When asked if she planned on casting a presidential ballot Clinton's way, Sister Souljah stated bluntly that it all goes back to the plantation. You got the white master and his wife. She also spoke of the fact that the Clintons, and especially Hillary, have showed nothing but absolute disrespect towards President Barack Obama and his wife. Now, I will back up a bit on this recent story and dive into some history for a second. Some of you much younger brothers and sisters might not remember, but back in the early 1990s, when Bill Clinton was running for office himself, he made a political jab at Jesse Jackson and the Rainbow Coalition and Operation Push by comparing Sister Souljah to a member of the KKK and trying to make it look as if Sister Souljah was joined at the hip with Jesse Jackson, since Jackson, Al Sharpton, and Sister Souljah were all very visible on the streets of Brooklyn, New York, when countless protest marches and demonstrations were going on during the mid to late 1980s. What Clinton failed to inform the public was the fact that racist white Democrats who lived in Bensonhurst were responsible for the death of Brother Yusef Hawkins. White liberal news media were the very ones who intensified more public support for Tawana Brawley when she alleged that she was raped in 1986, as they shrugged it off long before any investigation got underway, as to say, oh well, it's not the Central Park jogger or the Kennedy case. And see, all the black anger that you saw pouring out to those Brooklyn streets during the 1980s was all sparked by your white liberal. Bensonhurst was a working-class, white, liberal, democratic neighborhood. When black folks began to protest the murder of Yusef Hawkins, the white liberals counter-protested in large numbers as well. You see them right here in the streets, ready to toss watermelons at the brothers and sisters that are passing by. This was your Yankee, white, liberal Democrat. This was not a Southerner holding a Confederate flag. That is an American flag being waved by Polish, Irish, and Italian immigrant descendants, calling you moolies and eggplants, which is no different than being called a nigger. If it wasn't for Mayor Ed Koch, another liberal, stepping in and getting community organizers to curb the protest marches and rallies to the Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brownsville, and Crown Heights sections of Brooklyn, you would have seen them go bonkers just like the ancestors of many of these immigrants did in the 19th century, when the old Admiralty Draft Board was trying to force them to participate in the Civil War.
Wu-Tang is on the brain.
The same white liberal that you black folks keep voting for year after year with a 90% turnout, okay? The same liberal that eluded and escaped any sort of questioning for his and her involvement in the slave trade, post-slavery Jim Crow laws like the grandfather clause, or the drug epidemic that ravaged inner city neighborhoods and left dope and crack fiends looking like a bunch of roaches, lying flat on their backs, flailing their hands and legs in the street. Your liberal was the head honcho when all that was going down at every local level of government where most black people lived, whether it was in or around a major U.S. city. But yet and still, black folks, we keep right on voting for them. And the very reason why is because we still have the collective mindset of slaves. I'm sorry. When we are lined up at them polls, it looks like someone is getting ready to tell us to open our mouth and check our teeth or fill all over our head to see if we got rickets. Which is why I don't listen to the average Negro that's always pointing at which black man or woman is a sellout. Because if you really want to know what the hell a sellout is, all you got to do is wait till it's presidential election day. Now, the Negro in town voted at the primaries, and very few, if any, showed up to even see who was elected to city council or who became the new ward representative. But come presidential election day, you will see a long mile of us lined up in zoot suits as if we followed some flute-playing Pied Piper that puts us under a spell, giving away our vote to the same damn party who benefited the most from chattel slavery and continues to financially benefit from the voluntary destruction of this Negro today. Okay? Black folks, when you are at these polls, you resemble a bunch of children at an amusement park, getting ready to reboard the liberal ride of doom as if the last few decades weren't enough to raise your blood pressure. Sister Soldier, as well as Jada Pinkett Smith, who is also mentioned in this news article, have both tried to warn you. Jada Pinkett stated that Hillary Clinton unearths a shaky relationship with black and white women. You want to know what that relationship was, black woman? I'll show you. I hope all you sisters that keep making blogs and videos about the benefits of swirling recognize that the same white liberal woman that many of your mamas and aunties followed into the hellish flames of feminism have daughters. And they aren't going to give up that white liberal man without a fight. They didn't even support Monica Lewinsky when that incident popped off in the late 90s. So what do you think they will do in your case? I'll tell you. When Garcelle Bouvier, okay, or whatever the chick's last name was, that played Fancy on the Jamie Foxx show, tried to publicly shame her white ex-husband after he was caught cheating during their marriage, the white liberal and Zionist journalists made sure that the story never picked up steam. It was like watching oodles and noodles in cold water. That sister didn't resurface till years later when they threw her in Jet magazine, dressed up in some baggy old outfit, looking like she was about to go tap dancing in blackface. Not even a Playboy spread could help jumpstart her career again. You'd better think. Keep thinking this liberal is your friend.